사랑해.
Lovely viewers, gather around because today's story is one that touches the heart, stirs deep emotion, and reminds every one of us that behind the flashing lights, the red carpets, and the screaming crowds, celebrities are still human beings searching for balance, peace, and love. And when it comes to one of the biggest stars in the world, Lee Min-ho, his journey has become even more captivating as he opens up like never before about balancing fame, family, and his deeply cherished love with song Hye Kyo. As you listen, feel free to react, comment, and imagine yourself right there in their world, because this story isn't just news. It's a window into a life that millions admire but few truly understand. From the outside, fans see perfection. Lee Min-ho, the superstar adored worldwide, the charming face of global campaigns, the actor whose dramas break records, and the man who seems to effortlessly command attention wherever he goes. But what if you were told that behind that confidence, behind those breathtaking smiles, there is a man who has spent years trying to figure out how to carry the weight of fame without losing his identity? What if you discovered that even as the world praised him, he quietly struggled with loneliness and with the fear that personal happiness might slip away? And what if the very thing that helped him find balance was his love with song Hye Kyo? Imagine Min-ho sitting down for a quiet, exclusive conversation. The studio lights are softer than usual, his voice calmer, his eyes gentler. He pauses before answering the first question, as if taking a deep breath, not as a superstar, but as a man ready to be honest. He begins by admitting that fame was never something he fully understood, even after all these years. He explains how his life changed overnight after achieving massive success, how crowds grew larger, how expectations soared, and how privacy slowly disappeared. Lovely viewers, you can almost picture him remembering those days, standing on a stage with thousands cheering, yet feeling a strange emptiness inside. He reveals that at one point, every decision he made, every move, every friendship, every moment spent outside his home was judged, captured, or misunderstood. Imagine trying to live while millions watched your every step. Imagine waking up knowing that even a small mistake could spread worldwide in seconds. He admits that for a long time, this pressure made him afraid, not of failure, but of losing himself. He says he worried that fame would swallow his personal life whole, leaving no room for family, no room for rest, and definitely no room for love. And then, with a soft smile, almost shy, he mentions song Hye Kyo. Only her name changes the air around him. He describes meeting her as a turning point, not because she was a celebrity like him, but because she understood him in a way no one else did. Not as Lee Min-ho the global star, but as Min-ho the human being. He says she didn't care about the glamorous image, the headlines, or the hype. She cared about the man underneath. Lovely viewers, can you feel that? That shift from a world full of noise to a moment of quiet understanding. He admits that falling in love with her wasn't something he planned. He had built emotional walls around himself, convinced that dating openly would only bring chaos, rumors, and stress. But somehow, Hye Kyo saw through that. She wasn't intimidated by his fame, nor did she try to compete with it. She simply treated him like a real person. And for Min-ho, that was a kind of peace he didn't even know he needed. But love didn't immediately make everything easier. In fact, he opens up about how challenging it was to balance his demanding schedule with nurturing their relationship. He talks about the guilt of missing late-night conversations because he was too exhausted, or having to cancel plans because of sudden filming changes. He remembers moments when he caught her looking tired too. Tired of hiding, tired of pretending they were strangers in public, tired of the secrecy that their careers forced upon them. And in those moments, he says he feared losing her more than anything else. Yet he explains that love is not about perfection, it's about effort. And both he and song Hye Kyo chose to fight for their relationship, even when it was hard. They learned to communicate better, to cherish the small moments, to laugh during stressful times, and to become a team instead of two isolated stars. Lovely viewers, imagine them stealing quiet mornings together before schedules pulled them apart, sending long voice messages across cities, sharing jokes that only the two of them understood, and holding hands backstage when no cameras were looking. As Min-ho continues, he shifts to talking about family. Not just the idea of starting one someday, but the family he already has. He reflects on how fame has often caused him to miss important family moments, like birthdays, holidays, or simple dinners at home. He describes the pain of watching life move on without him, realizing that while fans gained a piece of him, his family sometimes lost one. And for the first time, he confesses that he fears being remembered more by the world than by the people who truly love him. He shares that Song Hye Kyo was the one who helped him reconnect with those roots. She encouraged him to spend more time with his parents, to take breaks, to show vulnerability instead of pretending to be strong all the time. He recalls a quiet memory, one he rarely shares, of sitting with his family at a small dinner table, no makeup, no cameras, just chatter and laughter. And he realized that fame might give him the world, but family gives him purpose. That moment, he says, changed everything. But of course, lovely viewers, the world of fame never stops spinning. Even as he fell deeper in love and strengthened his family bonds, he was still chased by cameras, still pressured by contracts, still expected to be flawless. And this is where he admits something powerful. That balance isn't something you find once and keep forever. Something you fight for every single day. He talks about learning to say no to certain projects, to prioritize mental health, to take vacations without guilt, and to allow himself to be human. And when he speaks about Song Hye Kyo again, he says she has become his anchor in that never-ending storm. He describes her as calm, wise, and incredibly patient. He says she reminds him that love doesn't demand perfection, just honesty. He shares how they've learned to support each other's careers instead of competing, how they celebrate each other's successes without measuring, and how they've created their own quiet world away from the chaos. Now imagine this emotional moment. He pauses, looks down, and confesses that for the first time in his life, he is not afraid of the future. He is not afraid of growing older, not afraid of stepping back from fame someday, because he knows that whatever happens, he won't face it alone. He believes that love is not a distraction from his career. It's the reason he can keep going. It gives him strength instead of taking it away. As the doors closed behind him and the world outside buzzed with cameras, questions, and noise, something remarkable was happening inside him. For the first time, he wasn't rushing toward his next schedule or obsessing over the next headline. Instead, he paused, letting the cool air hit his face, as if letting the universe remind him that life is bigger than the spotlight. And this is where our continuation begins, because what happened after that emotional confession became the next chapter in his journey of balancing fame, family, and love with Song Hye Kyo. Imagine Min-ho stepping into his car, silence filling the space around him. No music, no phone calls, just a moment alone with his thoughts. He reflects on the words he shared publicly, words he once feared to even whisper to himself. And in that quiet space, he feels relief. Not because he had said all the right things, but because he had finally said the honest things. Lovely viewers, have you ever spoken truth and felt lighter afterward? That's exactly what washed over him. On the ride home, he doesn't think about ratings or reactions. Instead, he thinks about Song Hye Kyo. He wonders if she watched the interview, if she felt proud, if she understood how deeply she shaped the man he was becoming. When he arrives home, he sees a soft light glowing beneath the door. He steps inside quietly, expecting an empty room, but there she is, curled up on the sofa, watching the replay of his interview with the gentlest expression. She turns, locks eyes with him, and for a moment neither speaks. She doesn't rush into his arms or shower him with praise. Instead, she offers a warm smile, one that says, "I'm here." And that, lovely viewers, meant more to him than any applause could. Min-ho takes a seat beside her, and they sit shoulder to shoulder, watching the final moments of the interview together. When the host asks him what truly matters in life, and he responds with love, balance, and family, Hye Kyo gently reaches for his hand. That simple touch becomes a reminder that while the world demands so much from him, she expects nothing more than sincerity. They don't talk about fame. They don't talk about rumors or expectations. Instead, they talk about small things, what they want to cook tomorrow, whether they should take a short trip, how the weather might be changing. These little conversations, he realizes, are the ones that give life meaning. And for the first time in a long time, he feels present, not as a celebrity but as a person in love. But as dawn approaches, reality returns. His phone vibrates with new schedules, requests, and reminders. A photo shoot here, a commercial there, rehearsals, events, endless commitments. Lovely viewers, you know how life can suddenly pull you in different directions. He looks at the notifications and feels a familiar tug, the pressure of fame trying to reclaim him. Yet this time something is different. Instead of drowning in the demands, he breathes deeply and reminds himself of the promise he made, to find balance. He turns to Hye Kyo and tells her something he has never dared to say before. I want to live a life that has room for us. She doesn't respond right away. She takes his hand, looks into his eyes and asks softly, Are you ready for that? Because love isn't just emotion, it's choice, sacrifice, and commitment. And she needed to know that he wasn't just dreaming of balance, but willing to build it. He nods, not as a superstar trying to please the world, but as a man choosing love with intention. The days that follow become a turning point. He talks to his team, expressing his need for breathing space. At first, they're shocked, Lee Min-ho cutting back, the global icon who never stops. But he stands firm, explaining that a career built without a life to enjoy is no victory at all. And slowly they understand. He starts scheduling breaks, real breaks, not 10-minute pauses between flights. He sets boundaries, limits his availability, and prioritizes time with family and with Hye Kyo. Even fans notice the change. Instead of rushing through airports with a guarded face, he appears calmer, more open, sometimes even stopping to greet fans with genuine warmth. Lovely viewers, imagine the world seeing a softer Min-ho, one who smiles differently, who looks lighter, who carries himself not with the stiffness of pressure but with the comfort of balance. Meanwhile, his relationship with his family grows stronger. He begins visiting his parents more often, sitting with them over homemade meals, listening to their stories, laughing about memories he once missed. He apologizes for the years he was absent, not physically but emotionally, and they embrace him with understanding only family can offer. But the most beautiful part, his bond with Song Hye Kyo deepens in ways neither expected. No longer squeezing love into the cracks of a crowded schedule, they start planning meaningful time together. Quiet picnics, evening walks, movie nights, secret getaways far from cameras. Not grand gestures, just real moments. And one evening, as they sit under a quiet night sky, Min-ho opens up again, more intimately than ever. He admits that at the height of his fame, he feared that being in love meant losing control of his image, risking scandals or disappointing fans. But now he realizes something profound. That love doesn't weaken him. It grounds him, makes him whole. It gives him a reason beyond applause to wake up each day. Hye Kyo listens, her eyes soft with emotion, and tells him something that stays with him forever. You don't have to choose between who you are and who the world wants. You just have to be true. Those words become his compass. As weeks turn into months, Min-ho embraces this new chapter. He doesn't abandon his career. He simply learns to live it differently. He works with passion but rests with purpose. He performs with excellence but loves with presence. He shows the world that success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. And guess what, lovely viewers? Fans begin to admire him even more. Not just for his talent but for his authenticity. They see a man who refuses to drown in fame, who chooses peace over pressure, who values love over perfection. His honesty becomes an inspiration, reminding millions that vulnerability is not weakness, it's strength. Through all of this, Song Hye Kyo stands beside him, not as a shadow, not as a secret, but as a partner. They become each other's home, each other's calm, each other's reminder that life's greatest achievements aren't trophies or ratings. They're relationships, memories, and moments of real connection. And as our story continues to unfold, one thing becomes clear. Lee Min-ho isn't just opening up. He's transforming. He is proving that even in a world of relentless expectations, A person can choose balance. Person can choose love. Person can choose a life that feels real. After embracing this newfound balance, Min-ho wakes up one morning with a calmness he hasn't felt in years. The sunlight filters gently through the curtains, and for once, he isn't rushing to an airport, preparing for a script read, or glancing anxiously at his schedule. Instead, he lies quietly, listening to the soft rhythm of the world around him. And in that silence, he realizes something powerful, that peace isn't found in the absence of responsibility, but in the presence of meaning. He turns to see Hye Kyo still asleep beside him, her hair resting softly across the pillow. For a moment, he just watches her, the woman who stood by him when the world demanded too much, the woman who reminded him that love doesn't require perfection, just truth. And in that tender silence, he feels gratitude flooding his heart. Not the kind of gratitude you post online, but the kind you feel deep in your bones, the kind that changes you. When she wakes, their morning is simple. No cameras, no glam, just breakfast in comfortable clothes, laughter over burnt toast, and quiet glances that say more than words ever could. And for Min-ho, these small, ordinary moments feel more precious than any red carpet spotlight. But life, as we all know, doesn't move without challenge. As he reinvests in his peace, the outside world buzzes louder than ever. Media outlets begin speculating about his reduced workload. Headlines question whether he's losing momentum, whether his career is slowing down, whether he's distracted by love. Social media debates, fans worry, critics chatter. And slowly, that familiar pressure begins tapping on his shoulder again. Lovely viewers, have you ever tried to change your life, only to feel pulled back by old expectations? That's exactly what Min-ho faces. Unlike before though, he doesn't panic. He doesn't let that old fear consume him. Instead, he takes a deep breath and reminds himself of why he chose this path. To live fully, not endlessly. To be present, not stretched thin. To cherish love, not chase approval. One evening, he sits with Hye Kyo on the balcony, city lights glowing beneath them like scattered stars. He confides his worries, that the world might see his new pace as weakness, that he might disappoint fans, that he might be misunderstood. And she listens quietly, her eyes reflecting both strength and softness. Then she tells him gently, living honestly will always confuse people who only see the surface. But you're not living for their expectations. You're living for your truth. Those words settle into his heart like an anchor. Instead of retreating into silence or fear, Min-ho makes a bold decision. He agrees to appear in a heartfelt documentary-style project. Not about fame, not about success, but about the real man behind the image. A project where he speaks candidly about mental health, personal balance, family, love, and the courage it takes to step back in a world that only celebrates stepping forward. It's risky. It's vulnerable. It's unprecedented. But it's real. As filming begins, he opens up more deeply than he ever has before, sharing memories of sleepless nights, moments of burnout, the emotional toll of constant scrutiny, and the fear that happiness might be a luxury he couldn't afford. And then, gently and beautifully, he speaks about Hye Kyo, not as a headline, but as his grounding force, his safe place, his reminder that life is not measured by applause, but by connection. Fans watching the documentary feel something shift. Instead of judging his new direction, they begin admiring it. Messages pour in, not demanding more projects, but thanking him for his honesty. Some say his story helped them rethink their own unhealthy pace. Others say his courage made them feel less alone in their struggles. And for the first time, Min-ho realizes that vulnerability doesn't weaken his legacy, it strengthens it.